from Layla Ibrahim. This is Messy and Imperfect Beloved Community. I have been going to the same church for a very long time, she says. For nearly 30 years, most Sundays, I have walked through our beautiful redwood doors. In all those years, I have filled a variety of leadership positions, from owl teacher to board president, usher coordinator to stewardship co-chair. And in all those years, my congregation has had ample opportunity to disappoint me. I am disappointed when people don't think my justice project is the one we should collectively work on. I am disappointed when people want different music than I do. I am disappointed that we don't all agree that our children's ministry is the most important priority of the church. I'm disappointed that people don't give enough time, talent, or treasure to the church as I do. I am disappointed. Well, you get the idea. In nearly 30 years of relationship, there have been lots of disappointments. 2 or 3 times over the years, I have been so disappointed that I seriously questioned remaining in my congregation. I have wondered if church is actually real. I have doubted its ability to provide the salvation of which we speak, lived, beloved community. On those occasions, I have thought, well, I can't say that from the pulpit. Screw it. I can just stop going to church for a while or forever. But staying away has never helped me through such times. Rather, coming in closer, telling people about my spiritual crisis, listening, sharing, caring, and worshiping have helped me know this is where I belong, even when church is the source of my frustration and disappointment. Because we are not in church to be with people who want to sing the same music or rally for the same cause or attend the same retreats. We are in church to learn to love better. And learning to love better can only happen when we love past our disappointments and return to a place of acceptance and affirmation. This is true in our personal lives, our work lives, and in our church lives. It is a deep spiritual practice. At best, as a religious person, as a Unitarian Universalist, as a member of this church, I am called to love whoever walks through these doors. I don't need to like everyone. Not everyone is who I would choose for a friend. Not everyone agrees about what we are here to do. But if I am living up to my best values, I offer care and respect and commitment to each member, friend, and guest of my beloved community. In the end, we can all try our best to live out our faith as Unitarian Universalists through study, conversation, service, and commitment. We forgive ourselves and forgive others as we stumble through. We disagree, we annoy, we flake out on one another. And we worship, we support, we hold, and we affirm one another. There is really only one choice between imperfect community and no community. Again and again, we are all called to choose to commit ourselves to building a more just, more diverse, and yet ever messy and imperfect beloved community. It's a common misconception that communities happen when people gather, but that's just people coming together. Community is something we have to make, to build, to weave, one piece, one layer, one thread at a time, and all together. It can be made and unmade and remade with each person who leaves and enters. And if communities do not change their shape to meet the needs and interests of the people in the community as it changes over time, it is likely the community will stagnate and even die. Communities don't happen outside of relationship. Community requires more than transaction. It doesn't happen when we punch in and out. Communities, like relationships, require attention and care. Community happens over time when we show up for one another, when we let people see us and we do the work to see them, and when we create together. If you want to be like Minneapolis, you have to do the work Minneapolisans did long before this moment. Communities take all kinds of shapes, sizes, causes. Strong communities have good, healthy leaders, people from different backgrounds and with different skills, and people who are committed to making a shared mission and vision real. Communities are clear on their purpose, and everything they do serves that purpose. For about 5 years or so, I was deeply involved with my local time bank. Time banking is a way of rebuilding community. I say rebuilding because once upon a time, there were more opportunities and commitments to community building than we have today. Social changes like women working outside the home, building houses without porches, the rise of suburbia and workplaces being a distance from where you live, the creation of household appliances, and the decline of churches and third or public spaces have all factored into this. Also, the common social narrative of independence, being able to do everything yourself, has taken a toll on communities. Time banking is a system of exchange. At its most basic level, it is somewhat like bartering, trading skills or services with one another. You walk your neighbor's dog, they mow your lawn. But this doesn't have to be a one-to-one exchange. Maybe you like to walk dogs, but you're like me and don't have a lawn to mow. But you have always had an interest in learning to play the guitar, and you've got another neighbor who offers lessons. So you earn a time credit for walking the dog and spend it on a guitar lesson, while another neighbor mows the lawn for someone else to earn a time credit for when you walk their dog. At least two things are happening in this scenario. One, everyone is getting their needs and wants met. And two, that people are forming relationships, often with people they wouldn't have connected with before. All because they joined a time bank and are getting to know their neighbors. Our time bank hosted monthly potlucks where people could eat and also engage in time bank related activities. Things like throwing a ball of yarn to everyone in a circle as they tried to answer one another's requests, taking pictures to add to people's profiles on the software, speed time banking, where people shared offers and requests with each other in 2 minutes, celebrating people who did their first exchanges or who went into the red because they were still engaging others in the time bank, which made the time bank run, and other activities. The potlucks were a great way to get people together, to get to know others in a low pressure setting geared toward beginning to form relationships that would help sustain the community. Other events that we hosted were game nights, talent shows, and a concert. Sometimes someone would need a lot of help, like they needed to move and someone would organize a group of people to get together for a few hours and they would get the entire project knocked out all at once. See how people have gone from being random strangers to creating community together? And from there, it can keep building. When I was moving from the area, the city was considering being part of the time bank to see if they might be able to engage neighbors in helping elders get their lawns mowed in the warm weather and their sidewalks and driveways shoveled in the snow. All of these different events could be successful because they were all low stakes. No one was asking for you to sign on to anything, theology, politics, whatever. We built community across difference. I hear the laments in the current chaos we call life in the world, wondering what more we could be doing to make it all better. And I am telling you what I've been telling you. that being a place with a thriving community matters now and will matter as the political and social landscapes continue to shift and change. It all comes down to the fact that we are always going to need each other, and people are going to need our congregations as we find our way. We want community, to share a sense of belonging, to have a sense of comfort, a sense of familiarity, and this makes sense. But that's not all community is for. It's also about learning to struggle all our lives with each other. It's about learning to love bigger. A story I keep coming back to in my mind is from the Jewish scriptures of Jacob wrestling a man, a stranger, all night long. For hours they struggled, one against the other, but neither was able to get the upper hand enough to defeat their opponent. As the dawn comes, the stranger strikes Jacob in his hip, and still Jacob refuses to relent without receiving a blessing. This he is given along with a new name, Israel, meaning one who struggles with God. I've been turning this story over and over in my mind because, like so many stories from the Jewish and Christian scriptures, it feels incomplete, open to interpretation. Now, the context of this story is that Jacob has a twin brother, Esau. Esau is the elder son, and to whom everything is promised. The two brothers don't get along for a variety of reasons. Jacob was basically a con artist who, among other things, tricked their father and stole his brother's birthright to be his heir, and Esau vowed to kill him. The night before Jacob is to meet his brother, he is so scared about this that he has divided his property and his family. He had 2 wives and 2 maids, along with children with each, and he sent them away from him in case Esau made good on his vow. This is the night that Jacob wrestles with God. And Jacob is blessed. Esau, who had brought an army 400 strong, greets Jacob and his family warmly and welcomes them to return home. It's a weird story. We're inclined to focus on the end of it, the forgiveness and reconciliation that comes between the 2 brothers. But I think this is a mistake. The takeaway to me is actually in the middle, that wrestling that occurs. Even though he's afraid and worried and probably really tired, he wrestles with this stranger all night long, a testament to his commitment to his family and his hope, his willingness to work to set things right with his brother. The reward, the blessing, wasn't about winning, but because Jacob never gave up or gave in. He wrestled because that's what we do for the things that matter most. It was about being there, even when we're scared or worried or tired or disappointed. We show up and fight for as long as it takes. Time banking is one tool we might use for building a beloved community. The social change now framework that we heard about in the story with the builders and the storytellers is another, and congregations are yet a third. Any of these can work, and in any combination, if we do the work. Our opening hymn was an African American spiritual. We UUs have rewritten some of the verses, which is a complex issue I'm not going to get into now. But what the original sort of gets to, and what our version definitely gets to, is an intersection of ideas. Every round goes higher, higher. If I stumble, will you help me? Though the road is steep and rugged. This is a story about wrestling with each other and God over time, over generations, supporting each other on the journey as we strive to make the beloved community and moving always, slowly, a little closer. We cannot struggle honestly toward the beloved community without everyone having a part, without helping each other through our disappointments and heartbreaks, without extending the kindness and generosity we hope for ourselves when we mess up, without understanding that we won't agree on everything all the time. Which means that sometimes we are going to have to figure out how to build bridges with people who may think and love differently than we do. But with each rung, we are deepening our relationships with one another, moving from othering to belonging, moving a little closer to living that dream of beloved community. It will be messy and imperfect on our way there, but together we will make it holy and whole. If you would please rise and lift your voice in song with me for our closing hymn, Building a New Way.